I'm not sure GMs like Mike Futa agree with me, but Hyman, Eichel, Schmidt, Seth Jones, Ekman Larson, Landeskog, even Weber. Like, I think this is good for hockey. I think all of this talk has us talking hockey when we wouldn't be normally. But what do I know? What's the hottest topic in your mind right now? Which one of those, or you can go off the board and mention somebody else, like what's captured your interest the most right now?
Where do I start? I mean, some of it's the guys that are going to be exposed in the expansion draft starting on Saturday night when teams send in their protection list. Part of it is a good name that you didn't mention, Tarasenko, out of St. Louis. Part of it is the goaltending market, which I wrote a little bit about today. I mean, there's lots of facets to this. I think this is such a big offseason. I think this is the biggest offseason in NHL history, the juiciest for sure, in terms of all those things in play at the same time. Really deep free agent class, players of impact available on the trade market, plus the expansion draft and the movement of players, redistribution of players that I think it's so significant. This is an NBA style offseason that I think is actually going to have us talking well into August.
Okay, so let's start with the goaltend. Let's start in net. And it feels like there's a domino situation. How much will the Leafs play into that domino situation?
Well, it's always a game of musical chairs, and I think we saw a little bit of that last summer as well. And I think moving forward with the Toronto Maple Leafs, look, they've gone through the process now the last number of weeks, like so many other teams have, and they've put a list together. And as I reported earlier today, one of the names that's risen to the top of that list is Darcy Kemper from the Arizona Coyotes. Now, he's become a primary target for the Leafs, and you could also say the same thing about the Colorado Avalanche in terms of their interest in Kemper from Arizona. Kemper's camp has made it clear, guys, to the Arizona Coyotes, he has 1 year left on his deal, that he will not be signing an extension there. So it makes sense for a team that is going to have an internal budget for next season to rip the Band-Aid off and move on from Darcy Kemper. And in fact, to maybe even do it in rather short order. That way they could protect a guy like Adin Hill heading into the expansion draft, another player that they think can lead that team in goal moving forward. So the Kraken could be interested. Kemper is just one name on the list among goalies to consider, but given how well he's played the last number of seasons in Arizona, I think I understand why a team like Toronto would have interest.
Yeah, Frank, we had Darcy in Los Angeles, and Bill Ranford just did a wonderful job with him. And my only thing with Toronto on that one is my thoughts. I've heard very much that Arizona wants a first-round pick included in any deal for Darcy, and Toronto is kind of a little short on those. And the other thing is, if you've made a decision that Jack Campbell, Jack's going to get a chance to be our guy, I think Darcy Kemper is a 1A all the way. Like, I would think that a team like Carolina or Colorado, if you feel like if you're going to give this guy a shot, he's a legitimate character guy, big guy. He's a number one goalie, and I think you're almost saying to Jack Campbell, you're back in
battle mode.
Yeah, you're not. For me, you're not bringing in Darcy Kemper in Toronto to back up Jack Campbell.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly, especially given the assets that it's going to take to get him. And I think your point is well made about the lack of those picks for the Maple Leafs to go around. When you trade one to get a guy like Nick Foligno, that's significant opportunity cost in that case. And so, with regards to Jack Campbell, I think they're not down on Jack Campbell at all, and I think moving forward they'd like to continue to give him an opportunity, but at the same time, as they evaluate the goaltending market at large, and there's a number of other names that I had mentioned in my piece, Linus Ullmark, Joonas Korpisalo, Marc-Andre Fleury, some other guys that are out there potentially. I think in this case, what we've seen overall in the NHL is that you need two goalies, and sometimes you even need three. And so especially if you were to bring in a guy like Kemper, who's had a significant injury history in the past and has played a limited number of games the last 2 years, you want someone like a Jack Campbell that can carry the ball for you a while if need be. So yes, whoever comes in, it may need to light that fire again in terms of Campbell, potentially having to prove himself. But I think that's probably fair and warranted. Even though he played really well last season, they didn't ultimately get the end result that they wanted.
Frank, I understand that the Leafs Nation is kind of fixated on Zach Hyman. And as I was watching the playoffs and I noticed all these big body defensemen doing real damage and what Tampa did, I started looking at Morgan Rielly and his future in Toronto. I know it's kind of a product of the market that they exist in, where their name gets thrown out there, but does this feel like it's a really big offseason for Kyle Dubas and this Leafs brass?
Well, there's no question that it is a big offseason. It doesn't feel like a big offseason. It is, because this team, for as well as they've played in the regular season and as many strides as they've made, they haven't gotten to the point yet that they want to in terms of achieving any sort of meaningful playoff success. And so until they do so, the heat's going to remain on. And in this case, that means taking, potentially another swing at, I don't think there's any sort of vast wholesale changes that are coming, but continuing to try and find ways to make this team better and be creative in doing so. And, you mentioned Morgan Riley, and there seems to be, whatever radio station I join, whether it's Fan 590 or whatever it is, there seems to be questions about Morgan Riley and his future. Is there any chance that they look at trading him? I don't think that's the case. And in fact, I think the way things played out with Zach Hyman is sort of exactly the same way that things play out with Morgan Riley moving forward. You continue to evaluate as the season goes along. He's probably playing at a level that's above what he's being paid. You take advantage of that as long as you can. And then when you reach this point next summer, you see what kind of playoff success you've had. And if so, you try and find a contract that makes sense for both sides. And if not, then you decide to cut bait and move on and thank Morgan Riley for his service.
Less than 30 seconds here, but is there a chance the Habs make a run at Jack Eichel?
I do think so. Look, that additional salary cap flexibility that could potentially exist if Shea Weber is on the shelf for any sustained period of time, let alone an entire season, gives Mark Bergevin a whole new set of creative options. And that he's looking for different ideas to try to improve that Habs team. And down the middle, it's still I know the Habs are well set, but that's still what they're looking at.
Yeah, and scoring down the middle without a doubt. Frank, Mike, both of you, really appreciate you